Every year, millions of people travel across the globe to a single room in Paris, all to spend just a few moments trying to catch a glimpse of a 500-year-old painting. But when you finally stand in front of it, the physical reality is surprising. It measures barely 2.5 feet tall, and the colors are subdued, mostly blending into earth tones and soft shadows. Out of the thousands of masterpieces scattered across human history, why does this specific, unassuming portrait command such intense, lasting attention? The modern obsession actually traces back to an August morning in 1911, when employees at the Louvre Museum discovered an empty space on the wall. An Italian worker named Vincenzo Perugia had hidden inside a storage closet overnight. When the museum was closed, he removed the canvas from its frame, slipped it beneath his clothes, and simply walked out the front door. For 2 years, the painting was completely unaccounted for. That long absence created a massive media vacuum. Newspapers worldwide printed the portrait's image alongside breathless stories of the heist, elevating a highly respected Renaissance artwork into a household name. The mystery ended in 1913 when Perugia attempted to sell the masterpiece in Florence, resulting in his immediate arrest and the portrait's return. Today, that history of theft requires the painting to live inside a heavily fortified, climate-controlled enclosure, protected behind a sheet of bulletproof glass. But a single true crime story only generates short-term notoriety. It cannot explain how the fascination has survived and amplified over an entire century since the recovery. To understand its enduring power, we have to look past the media hype and examine the actual scientific engineering Leonardo da Vinci applied directly to the canvas. Leonardo da Vinci was a polymath, a brilliant engineer, anatomist, and scientist. When he began this portrait in the early 1500s, he refused to rush the process, keeping the painting with him for years to meticulously build the layers. He employed a very specific, advanced technique called sfumato. Sfumato is an Italian term that translates roughly to evaporate like smoke. Instead of painting sharp outlines, Leonardo blended his color seamlessly, allowing edges to dissolve entirely into soft, subtle gradients. Leonardo applied this technique to the mouth, painting it to function as a dynamic optical illusion. This effect is driven by a quirk in human biology. Our central and peripheral visual fields process light and shadows differently. While our central vision picks up fine details, our peripheral vision is much more sensitive to shadows. Curious, when you look directly at her mouth, your central vision catches the finer details, making the expression seem relatively flat. But when your eye drifts to the eyes or the background, your shadow-sensitive peripheral vision picks up the sfumato shading at the corners of the lips, causing the smile to appear to widen. Leonardo exploited these mechanics of vision to create an image that changes in real time based on where the viewer focuses. He applied a similar mastery of perspective to her eyes, creating an effect where her gaze appears to follow the viewer across the room. But the precision of his brushwork is contrasted by the absolute ambiguity of the painting's history. Scholars generally believe the subject is Lisa Gherardini, but the lack of definitive proof allows for theories that she might be an idealized composite or even a disguised self-portrait. Then there is the distinct lack of eyebrows and eyelashes. For centuries, historians have debated whether Leonardo left them out intentionally or if centuries of aging and restoration gradually stripped those delicate layers of paint away. Even the dreamlike landscape stretching behind her remains contested, as researchers argue over whether the winding rivers map to real Italian geography or a purely imaginary realm. This lack of definitive context forces the viewer to supply their own, leading every generation to fill these historical gaps with their own theories and projections. Modern science is stepping in to try and resolve these debates. Researchers are bringing the painting into advanced laboratories, using tools like multispectral photography to effectively look past the visible spectrum. High-resolution scans and infrared imaging are quite literally peeling back the paint, revealing raw charcoal sketches, structural corrections, and subtle details that have been hidden beneath the varnish for hundreds of years. Yet, even after 5 centuries of study and the deployment of our most sophisticated imaging technology, Leonardo's ultimate intent for the painting remains partially hidden. The portrait remains famous because it provides questions that modern technology cannot fully answer. It is a work of art that is designed to stay unresolved. Leonardo created an expression that only fully appears when the viewer isn't looking directly at it. 5 centuries later, the entire world is still trying to catch a glimpse of the secret behind that enigmatic smile.